All right, so in this video, we're gonna actually walk through some, pretty significant examples of how to use all these rules kind of in combination. We'll start out with ones where I actually give you all of the steps. All you have to do is find the reason that matches those steps. So what I would say is a good idea would be to actually pause the video, try to come up with the rules yourself, then hit play and you'll see me explain step by step. So that would be my recommendation. So here we go. You have a couple of premises here, and then all of a sudden in step 3 you have P with a reason that needs to be decided. So I'm looking at my two premises because I can only look above, right? I can't justify P from something below it. So I'm looking above. There's not even a P in step 2, so it's definitely step 1. How do I get P from P and Q? Well, that's one of our new rules. That's simplification. So I pull the P from step 1 using simplification. Well, then all of a sudden I have Q. Well, if you followed how I got P, well then you'll follow how I get Q. It's the same exact rule. Still simplification. All right. Now you may say, you would have done it in a different order or something like that. That doesn't really matter. As long as whatever you get has a valid justification and it came from something above, it's good to go. No problem. Now, why do we want those? Well, in the next step, all of a sudden we have Q or R. All right. I do see a Q or R up here, but it's an if Q or R, then S, and I don't have any way of getting that all by itself. So I'm gonna have to look at something else. I see the Q, and one of the things we talked about was sometimes you're gonna have to use addition to add another term, and again, it may seem random. In this case, it's definitely not random because I know it's gotta fit this. So I'm gonna actually use addition for number 5 to get Q or R. And now the rest I think will be, if you got to here, I think the rest will kind of be pretty reasonable because now you've got Q or R, which is exactly the if part here. If this, then that. I have this, therefore that. That's classic modus ponens. Now this one's interesting because the last step says P and S. Well, the whole reason we pulled the P apart from in step 3 from step 1 was so that later on we can actually finish the proof by combining the P from 3 with the S from 6. So that would be conjunction on 3 and 6. Okay, so all these steps were picked for you. You may have chosen again to do a different order. There are multiple ways you could have done it, but if I want to follow these steps, these are the reasons that have to go with it. Okay, here's another one. Again, it'd probably be a good idea if you pause, try it on your own, and then hit play when you're ready. All right, same idea to start. It looks like I have A and B here. And then all of a sudden they want me to have A all by itself. There you go. Similar to the last one also, now all of a sudden I have an A or E. I cannot pull the A or E from here in any way, shape, or form, so I'm going to use addition to create it. Using 4, I'm going to add E. All right, where does this not C come from? Well, if you look above to step 2, I have A or E here implies not C. Well, A or E has been proven now, so therefore not C. Okay, modus ponens. I have a not C. Somehow I'm supposed to get a not D. Look at step 3. If this, then that, not that, therefore not this, and the not this time is a not of a negation, not D. So the 7 is not double negation. I have not double negated anything. All I did was negate the if. That's modus tollens. Okay, people get confused about that all the time. They see this, they immediately say double negation. Yeah, there can be double negation applied to this, but that's not how this was created. Okay, so from step 7 to step 8, I'm using double negation to get the not D into the D. Okay, so be careful there. All right, here's another one. I have A if and only if B. Remember what I said, as soon as you see that, you got to be thinking biconditionals somehow involved. Let's see if it shows up. I have a not A, I have this one here. So I do need a B implies A. Well, this step 1 says if A then B and if B then A. Now here's, I think I said in the last video, sometimes it's better to just like put all the possibilities for that, but I think I just went right to the one I wanted, okay? You could argue with me if you want that you should really list them out first, and I would accept that argument. But for right now, let's just get the main idea. I have if A then B, and if B then A, and I can pick whichever one I want. All that would happen is I'd have like a step 4.5 in here saying, I'd put them together first, and then I would use simplification to pull it apart. So now I have if B then A. And if you notice in step 2, I have a not A. Well, that means I get a not B. That's modus tollens. Right? Look at steps 2 and 4. That's classic modus tollens. If you look carefully at steps 3 and 5, you have a not C or B, right? So I have this or that, not that. Therefore, it must have been this, not C. That's disjunctive syllogism. And then earlier, I was given the not A. I hadn't even used it. Sorry, I did use it. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I did use it already. It doesn't matter. We're using it again. I have the not A already, is what I was trying to say. I have the not C that I just proved, and I'm going to put them together exactly the way they want using conjunction. Okay? So those are some examples where all the steps are given to you. Here's your first example where you don't have the steps or the reasons. So you have to come up with the way to get it yourself. So try pausing, try figuring this one out, and then watch. All right, if this, then that. Not that, therefore not this. So not the not P. That's modus tollens. I'm supposed to get P, therefore I'm going to use double negation on step 3 and actually get P all by itself. Okay? I have A or B, but not B. Okay? A or B, but not B. Well, if I have A or B and not B, therefore I must have A. Disjunctive syllogism. This is straight off of the rule book. Okay? But they're telling me I'm supposed to prove A or C. Where the heck did this C come from? Make it, right? Add it yourself. Just put it in. If I know A is going to be true no matter what, I can use or with anything to get a new statement that's still true and still acceptable and valid. Okay, so that's addition. This is that abstract thing I was kind of talking about where you have to kind of really think about it. All right, here's a nice solid one here. We've got all this stuff here. Somehow we're supposed to end up with just S. If you think ahead a little bit, you know, just deep down you know that if you're supposed to get this S right here, somehow you're going to have this part. So your whole goal should really be to get this part, then you'll get that. So I'm looking up here. I see lots of things, lots of letters. The only thing I really feel like I can start with is just breaking these apart, right? I can pull out the not Q from the and using simplification. Okay? Well, now that I see that, I can use number 2 with number 4, classic disjunctive syllogism. Now I have an R. Ooh, I have an R here. That's part of it, right? Now I just need to get P. Where do I get P from? Oh, step 1, simplification. All right, if you did that first, or these are in a slightly different order, if you pulled the P and the not Q first, that's fine. You're still going to get R. Okay, it doesn't matter what order. As long as you have the not Q before you get R, you're fine. Okay, so now I do have R and P together, but I'm going to write it just like they did so I can make sure it matches. That's conjunction. And now I can use modus ponens to pull out the S. Okay, so this one you really have to think about where are you headed, what do you have. Sometimes you just have to list anything that you know for sure is true, and then maybe that triggers something going down. Oop, why do I have 2 6s? That should be 7 8. Sorry about that. Let's see. Yeah, sorry. That clearly this should be 7 and 8, so therefore this would be 3 and 7 instead of 3 and 6. Sorry about that. Numbering, automatic numbering didn't work out nicely there. Okay, but the point I'm trying to make is you just gotta sometimes go with whatever you see and see where it gets you. Okay? All right, hopefully that helps. Feel free to rewatch and contact me and, you know, do your best. I know it's tough. There's really no, you know, automatic formula I can just give you to solve all these. It's not like plugging into an equation. You just have to think it through. All right, so do your best and let me know if you need any help. I'll see you later.